YouTube, what's good YouTube? It's your boy King back in this thing. If you guys are new to the channel, definitely be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I greatly appreciate all your support. And I want to give a special thank you to everybody who leaves a positive comment and shares these videos. You guys mean a lot to me. Thank you, each and every single one of you guys. We are here to spread the truth. This is a reaction channel. Shout out to everybody that we react to. And that is that. So with no further ado, guys, there is talk of Trump suing Letitia James, Mr. Letitia James. And a lot of you guys said that you believe that Trump should sue Letitia James. I'm in favor of seeing Trump sue Letitia James. So it's an interesting thing. You know, they definitely are, they definitely were sent as agents of chaos to sabotage Trump. And, now they're in a panic. Now they're all over the place. They see Trump is getting closer. He remains resilient. He's strong. He consistently overcomes these barriers and blockades. So it's not looking good for them. And it's definitely looking much better for the Trump administration. So let's get into it, guys. No further ado. Shout out to Alina Habba, and let's go.
What is the latest with President Trump's case? Obviously, everybody for the longest time was saying Monday, it's going to happen Monday. 454, he's going to have to pay if he doesn't seize his assets. The View, I can't wait. I want to see that, seizing his assets and the property. I want to see all of that stuff. What is the latest? What's been happening?
So we're winning. And I've always tell people, this is the long game. Okay. We are in a corrupt system. There's no question about it. So people love to say, look, we're going to go over there and Tish James is going to take the keys to Trump Tower. I think Whoopi Goldberg and all of them got excited about putting a chain around Trump Tower and literally were taunting. It was a really pathetic sight, actually. And
who even watches The View? The Few, The Spew. Who watches that show? Oh my gosh.
It didn't happen. Why? Because the appellate division read our papers, saw that there are reasons for a stay, saw that it absolutely is ridiculous to have somebody lose an asset while the appellate division hasn't had an opportunity to look at the injustices, look at the decision making that was so flawed. And frankly, the motivation on this case was flawed. She was motivated to bring this case before she was even in office. That's what she ran on, Miss James. So that in itself, selective prosecution, happens to be illegal. It shouldn't happen. Look, they stated, they dropped it. They said, we're not taking assets. Everything is frozen. Not only, and this is the one thing that nobody talks about, they didn't just say you're not paying that amount of money, which, by the way, is almost close to $1 billion with a bond because you have to pay 10% more, plus you have to pay interest. The judges said, no, we're stopping everything. You're not enforcing this. You're going to put 175 mil, which is still crazy, in a bank. But we're also not enforcing any decision against the defendants not to be able to work in New York in real estate. We're also not enforcing the decisions against Alan Weisselberg, Jeff McConnell, people that did nothing wrong, that were working for a company and did their job and truly did nothing wrong. Nobody did. And every single part of that decision from Judge Engoron, that twisted decision.
Weird looking guy.
Every single thing was put on hold. Everything. While we have the opportunity now to say, this is what I was screaming about outside the courtroom steps every day. So we're on hold and I mean, we're on hold for an expensive price, but at least we're seeing a little bit of, due process and sense.
And how did he come up with the 175 million?
I don't know. I have no idea. It wasn't in there. There wasn't any qualification.
Alina, are they starting to figure out that this tactic that they're using is not, it's done. It's not going to work.
We could call the DNC and ask them. I'm not sure. I don't understand how they couldn't see that their overreaching has really hurt them, because Donald Trump has always been famous. He has always been a very smart businessman, which is why I think he's a very good president. He attacked.
Definitely, because to me and many others, he ran America like a business. America is a business first and a country second. So when you run it like a business, then the money starts flowing around and everybody benefits. So that kind of thing. At least that's how it struck me. So you guys definitely let me know what you guys think. And that's that. And as far as the Dems overreaching, they most definitely overreached and they exposed themselves. You saw the same pattern with Fannie Willis. Okay. this overconfidence and this like ambitious anger and this vindictiveness and oh yeah, we're gonna take out Trump, and then boom, she goes for Trump, and then everything blows up in her face, and they expose themselves in their corruption over and over and over again, and you know they really reap what they sowed, quite frankly.
Things from a business perspective, which I think some presidents and some politicians, frankly, do lack that experience, right? And because of that.
Also, when I talk, I'm coming from a business standpoint as well. That's another thing I just want to state. So I'm definitely coming from a business standpoint when I'm thinking about America and how Trump ran it. So that's that.
They've attacked him so badly that now you've taken a billionaire and made him sympathetic because you're trying to hurt him. It's so obvious that now we've got people from the left, the middles, they're coming to our side and saying, whoa, this is just too much.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to do this to me.
Exactly.
What am I going to do? I don't have Haba outside screaming.
Exactly. Whatever they do to him and whatever they do to Trump and anybody who opposes the left is what they're going to do that to you. Okay, that's how this whole thing works. They're going to do that to us, and yeah, it's a giant snowball effect. It all trickles down and gets bigger and bigger, and it's a giant crap show. So yeah, definitely things to take note of, and yeah, get these people out of office.
You know, what are you going to do? And that's been my message always is, you know, they're doing it to him, but they'll do it to us. They'll do it to me, I'm sure. They'll do it to everybody. And that's what scares me. So that's really, the motivation's really not just President Trump, it's America.
So let me ask you this. So this 175 we're talking about, okay, it has to be in an account. Fine. He puts
America's
that
the new
cash.
Rome.
No problem. If we size up the enemy of President Trump as being deceptive, dark, divisive, willing to do anything to eliminate him as a candidate going into 2024, November 5th, anything they can do, right, to spin the story and say, look at him now, he's part of the establishment, he's going to New York begging people for money, Wall Street, all this stuff. If that was the case, he's still got a few more cases open. Is it possible that they may come up and say, yeah, for this one you have to pay $280 million. This one's going to be $73 million. Another $128 million. Another $190. Can they keep doing this between now and October to just really deplete all of his savings?
So, look, the reality is he's an incredibly wealthy man. His wealth, like all wealthy individuals that have intelligence, is being put to work. It's in buildings, it's in real estate, it's in hotels, it's in golf. They're not, you know, whatever they're going to try and do, they forget who they're dealing with, number one. But realistically, Patrick, what we do have in front of us is really not the civil suits. The civil suits were already done. And what you're asking, I believe, already happened. We had the Carroll lawsuit. He got hit with an insane, and that was a suit that I obviously did. We had already lost prior, and we have not been heard on appeal on that first loss.
This is the $83.3 million.
$83.3 million.
Right.
That was the first one,
right,
which actually turns out to be $91 million when you look at it with the bond, okay, with the 10%. You have to put 10% on top. People think you put 10% into the court.
Decrease.
You put the entire amount plus 10% into the appellate division. So it's a number that the court gives plus 10%, plus the interest on the bond, plus whatever they get in fees. It's plus, plus, plus. So we already got that hit. I did that trial 2 weeks after Letitia James' trial ended. I was on that trial for 4 months. The Judge Engoron waited to put his decision until after the jury came out with Carroll. Wow. So we had that happen. It was $91 million. And then Tish James, her original complaint, if you look, was $250 million. In the middle of the trial, towards the end, she changes it and says, now I want more. Not because the facts were bad. Frankly, the facts were good. Deutsche Bank took the stand, said he was a whale of the client. We actually wanted him because we wanted his connections. Zurich still insures us. You know, all these things. The judge didn't care. Tish asked for more. He gave exactly what she wanted. There was no consideration for witnesses or facts or law. It's all crazy and corrupt.
How did they come up with these
So
numbers?
it was 91, then 375. They're out of thin air. Their own expert said, even if we looked at what this judge is saying is an overvalue. Okay. He's also saying Mar-a-Lago's $18 million.
Yeah.
Okay, so sure, if you think Mar-a-Lago is worth 18 million, well, there's about over $1 billion of over. It's ridiculous. There is no way. If Mar-a-Lago is 18 million, we should all buy it tomorrow and flip it, and we'll all be worth hundreds of millions of dollars. I mean, it's crazy. But if you look at it that way, yeah, that was already planned, Patrick. That's what they did. They did 91. Then they did 375. 375 becomes more like 600 million. So they were trying to take it. By the way, remember, Tish asked for his statements, asked for financials. She changed the number based on what cash he had. There's 0% question in my mind. That's what happened.
So Lena, if you ask that, like the average person that doesn't know about law, doesn't know about all this, and they're looking at it from the outside looking in, even left or right, and they're saying to themselves, how the hell are they getting away with this and nobody's saying anything? In the legal world, in government, in Congress, somebody should be like, all right, guys, time out. Besides, I don't care what the hell, who the person is. What are you guys doing? This is blatantly obvious that it's a tactic to try to keep them off the ballot. It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous, but I think that we have a problem with accountability with the Democrat side, and I'm not sure we figured out how to tackle them. We have to. I think President Trump would make everything even Steven when he gets back into office. I think that what we have to deal with is exactly that. We keep talking about it. I could go on TV every day and talk about how we have White House logs that came out while I was on trial. I'm sitting in the back room and I find out that there were White House logs that Tish James visited the White House.
Yeah.
Before and after the complaint was filed.
Wow.
What? How was that not on the news? If I didn't have such a loud mouth, people wouldn't hear the truth. So I'm looking at it and I'm going, what? How is this possible? And it didn't get covered. It didn't get covered. I mean,
who is that public info? Fight right now wanted to find out that she's visited the White House.
Yeah.
That's public. I could see it.
Yeah. It's crazy. So I'm looking at it and I'm saying, how do we hold them accountable? Well, these are elected officials. You know, we had people there. We have gag orders being put on us. How is that okay?
Yeah.
Gag orders on lawyers.
Yeah.
Imagine I go to court, I'm your lawyer.
And
the judge says, but no, you can't talk about a couple things here.
What?
How about the Carroll case? The judge asked me the questions I was going to ask my client in public in front of the media before he took the stand, and then asked me what his answers would be.
What?
I was like, excuse me?
Wow.
Nobody talks about it. Transcript. Ask for the transcript. It's there. It's crazy.
Yeah, this is judicial activism at its worst. Judicial activism is where the judge is sort of acting as a lobbyist on behalf of a political side. And in civil cases, it can run amok as long as you get a dirty judge. At least at the federal level, you know, you have federal sentencing guidelines, right? Which was that a sentence will be this much, might be this much, and can be extended to this much on the circumstances
statutory.
Basically the AGs for states or whatever that are participating and remand things like to the Southern District of New York for business, and it looks terrible, and they say, okay, well then your guidelines here, but you're going to get this. But for civil, Vinny, civil, it can run amok. All you need is a bad, dirty judge. He puts a gag order here, he impugns a witness here, he prevents this here, he suppresses this here, and you're literally a puppet, and you feel like you're in the middle of Congress during a debate for a bill rather than in the halls of justice with rules and regulations. We are supposed to have, you know, the executive, the judicial, and then legislative. Legislative is where we run amok until we figure it out. Judicial, we're supposed to have procedures and laws and standards and things that go in there. This didn't happen. They basically decided that the civil case, they were going to run it like a political campaign. And for everybody listening, that's what you should think about here. That the Trump cases were run like a political campaign by a filthy, corrupt judicial.
Yeah, they are politically motivated. And there were things that were done that I know were meant to make me look stupid. And, you know, judges admonishing me, telling me to sit down in front of a jury, the way they spoke. There was nothing I was doing procedurally or in evidence rules that was wrong. Now, the press covered it that way because the judge made them think and would say things like, you should read the evidence rules. And I'm looking and I'm saying, well, I'm trying to be an ethical lawyer here and respectful. But I can't, you can't really talk back to a judge, right? Especially when a judge is telling you they're going to throw you in jail, which happened on the Carroll case. Imagine in a civil case, because I objected to a PowerPoint slide that I wanted in, and he said is not coming in. The PowerPoint slide literally proved everything I had said in the case. It said that, look, if somebody tweets something and President Trump doesn't acknowledge it for 5 hours, but they're getting hate from trolls. How can you blame President Trump for defamation? That slide was taken out. I was not allowed to bring it in. And the jury couldn't see it. But the judge, the way they do it, he did it in front of the press. He didn't do it in chambers. He does it so that people start to have this narrative. Oh, she's not a good lawyer. Oh, she's not bright. Oh, she's not this and that. Is that me?
The judge said he's going to throw you in jail.
Yeah.
Yeah, the weird guy. Wow. So, question: did you guys file any motions against Letitia James for all the videos and all the rhetoric of I'm going to go after Trump? How is that not a conflict of interest to get her taken off the case?
So her being on the case is different than Fani Willis.
Okay.
So Tish James actually doesn't do the cases.
Okay.
She's a figurehead effectively, right? So she's got a team that we dealt with for 3 years, and that team tried the case. She would show up, she would sit in the back, she would have her coffee. She wasn't really trying the case. Now, she was giving the directives. She was given the directives, much like Merrick Garland or any of them, right? Yeah. But did we argue selective prosecution? 100 times. Did we argue that she prosecuted President Trump to get into office, said it before, that it was improper, that she was unethical, all those things, 100 times. Was it covered?
No. Just like her going to the White House to visit.
What I want to ask is how they come up with these numbers, and we'll
I
get
can
to
no longer remain in today's Democratic Party.
Tulsi Gabbard says she is no longer a Democrat.
A potential Tulsi Gabbard VP.
Where we are being told that we just have to comply and go along with whatever they say. American people are smarter than this. However, we must remain vigilant to recognize their propaganda for what it is, pure lie. Unfortunately, we live in a time where free speech is under attack. Whatever they say goes, and we have to just follow. And the people who suffered under your reign as prosecutor, you owe them an apology.
Yeah, so there we have it. It's absolutely crazy. And you definitely can see that the judges are politically motivated, and that's why they're giving them such a hard time to go. You got Judge McAfee over here throwing a lifeline to Fani Willis. And so, and then really, and they did that a few times. He did that a few times. And you really notice that too with having Nathan Wade step down, but not Fani Willis, and keeping Fani Willis active within the whole case. That was like, dude, like she's clearly guilty. And then Judge Engoron, you have him being, politically motivated with the, hitting for what, 454 million. On top of that, I believe it went up to like 600, it was in like the 600s, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And that was just absurd. Like, that's completely insane. And then it gets dropped all the way down to around, what was it, 175? Then it dropped down to like 100 something million. So it's just crazy. They continue to expose themselves, and it's really a shame that these people have these positions, quite frankly. And yeah, we got to just continue to pray for Trump. Definitely support Trump, man. And yeah, shout out to Valuetainment. And yeah, shout out to Alina Haba. Shout out to everybody on the panel. It's pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting. Definitely have a lot of respect for Trump going through all these legal battles, though. Definitely a lot of respect out to Trump for that, because court is no joke. Court is not fun. It's no joke, especially when your wallet's getting thrown in the whole situation, and then there's talk of jail and all that kind of stuff. That stuff is never anything to be played with and toyed with. And Trump's definitely got an excellent legal team, so no worries there. But it's just it's something that he's constantly got to think about. So yeah, pretty interesting stuff, man. So definitely want to get this video out. So that's that. Thank you to everybody who watched the whole video, liked, comment, and subscribed, and shares these videos. I greatly appreciate everybody's support, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Definitely let me know what you guys think in the comments. All right, peace.